All right, what's up, everyone? It's another episode over the top talk. Crazy weekend we had. I'm here with Anthony,
Yo, how we doing?
and we're also joined by Leo once again. How are you doing today?
I am good. I am great.
Yep.
All right, so I guess we can just talk mania. What match you guys want to start with?
I mean, we can start with the first match of the night, I guess. Rhea versus Becky.
Whew.
That was a great match to start the show. Actually, that was a really good match. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. And the right choice was definitely to have Rhea win. Like, let's be real. Come on. If
Yeah.
Becky won, she would have got booed out of the arena if she won. Like I feel like she would have had some fans would have liked it, but Rhea has so much more to tell
Yeah.
with that championship.
Yeah, considering she is now the longest reigning champion out of the current champions on the main roster right now, I think. Well, outside of Roman, but still, it was a great match, like you said. I gotta give props to both women because I mean for Becky, she had a 102-degree fever and strep throat, and she still went out there and performed. And I think Rhea Ripley was also sick as well, but they both went out there and actually competed and gave us one of the an exciting match nonetheless. So I do give props to both women.
Yeah, on that point, I
Yep.
agree with both of you guys. It was a very good match. To obviously start off night one.
Hmm.
I think it was the right choice to start that match or
Yeah,
have that match first. So yeah, I guess moving on. Talk about the tag team, titles being split. Our
hmm
predictions were me and
Yep.
Anthony's were right for that match.
mine would
Yep.
too. Yep,
That match was amazing. Hey,
it
that
was a
match was
great.
incredible.
It was fun. I don't. I
Hmm.
think people kind of like looked at it and says like this could be like a bad match. I mean, it was not a bad match. Don't like. And it was great that they finally split the tag team titles. It was about time. It was long overdue. And both
Yeah.
the teams that actually won made sense because they were going to give it to a face and heel tag team. So with Awesome Truth and especially our Truth being as over as he is and the story that they've been having with him in the Judgment Day, it only made sense to kind of cap it off and have this be the moment where he does become champion and finally gets his WrestleMania win, which was a great moment
Hmm.
nonetheless. And then we can't take nothing away from Eight Sound Down Under. I mean, they were like the guys that I feel like were going to be a shock to a lot of people, but to me, it was not.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I hope. I hope we see the Awesome Truth like hold the belts for a little bit. Like I hope they're not like a transitional champion.
No.
I hope not. A Town Down Under is a different story though. Like they might hold it for like until Backlash. I think they might lose it around Backlash time.
Maybe
Maybe.
Backlash or Clash at the Castle or something like that. I
Yeah.
think for Awesome Truth, I think they're gonna hold it at least till SummerSlam. I can see
Hmm.
them holding it till SummerSlam because honestly, I feel like at some point DIY is going to turn heel, and then we
Yeah.
can have those two teams go at it at SummerSlam, and you can give DIY the titles there.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
And
Definitely.
talking about kind of shocking results. I don't think a lot of people expected Sami Zayn to win his Intercontinental title. Um, what were you guys' thoughts on that? Like win?
It was a great moment. I mean, I think going into it, it was 50-50.
Hmm.
But I think the go home show kind of solidified that he had a legitimate chance of winning. And everything that
Yeah.
he's kind of been doing leading up to WrestleMania, with him doing like the hype packages with him and Sammy, it made sense that they were going to probably pull the trigger and have him break the record for to take the title from him. I think at this point now it's like, what do we do with Chad Gable? Because his story is still wanting to get the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know if his story is kind of different because I think he wanted to be the one to beat Gunther, but now his focus is pretty much solely on the Intercontinental Championship. So I'm trying to figure out like what direction he's going to be going in. But I do think he is going to be turning heel next Monday. I'm calling it now. He's turning heel next Monday in their match because it's going to be in Sammy's hometown and everything like that. So I do think that'd be a crazy moment to have happen. But I feel
Yeah.
like I think Gunther. I think it was about time for him to win, or at least lose, because I feel like the thing with him, I can give him a pass only because he's there every week and he's putting up like some of the better matches. And it's one thing to think about is like, honestly, didn't think Sammy was going to win. I was still on the train of maybe Chad Gable winning it, or maybe potentially a upcoming Dragonoff because he did was on Raw last night and he's eligible for the draft. So I was thinking
Mhm.
maybe they could have just held off on this and had him be the one to take it. But I think it was they wanted to kind of show everybody that he's still that big baby face. In a sense, I feel like that was them kind of giving him his moment, considering if they didn't give him the moment going up against Roman last year, this was kind of
Mhm.
their way of, okay, you didn't get the championship from Roman, but this is our way of making it up to you.
Yeah,
That's what I thought
definitely.
about.
Yeah, and obviously with him transitioning, from the mid card, I think he'll, go after some like of the bigger titles. Which
Yeah.
title do we think he's gonna go after, Cody or the world heavyweight title?
I
Oh,
feel
world
like
heavyweight.
Cody. I say Cody because
Really?
I feel like I think Cody is gonna get drafted to SmackDown possibly,
Mhm.
unless they decide to keep it where it is. Because honestly, going back on it, I think they might keep Cody on Raw and then just send Priest to SmackDown. I think that might be the
Mhm.
better way of doing it. But I think with the World Heavyweight Championship, it doesn't make sense for him to go after that title only because I feel like the storylines that they're going to be telling around that title for like the first to second half is already there because you already have Drew trying to get his moment against Priest. You have him and Punk in the mix. You have a Seth Rollins potentially coming back in the next couple of weeks. So you're gonna have those 3, 4 guys around it. Now you have Jay in, and you're gonna at some point you're gonna probably have Ricochet because he still has some business with the Judgment. So you have all those guys in the mix for the World Heavyweight Championship. While for Cody, it's kind of much on the other side of things where we don't really know. It's pretty much
Mhm.
open. Anybody can kind of step up and challenge him. We know Rock is one of those guys that's going to challenge him at some point. I think that's probably going to be safe for SummerSlam or maybe even Randy Orton. So those are 2 guys right there. But in the between that, you still have other guys that you could put in that mix. You have AJ. You could put Gunther in there. Like you have different guys that you can throw in the mix to throw down with Cody to build up his reign be legitimate. So I do think Gunther going after Cody and the undisputed championship makes more sense than him going after the world title.
Mhm. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, I have this this little fantasy booking thing that I was thinking about. What
Mm-hmm.
if possibly we get Gunther winning the Money in the Bank, all right?
Mm.
And then we have Drew win the championship back just to get cashed in on
Oh
again.
Lord,
Lose
no!
the belt immediately to Gunther, all right? And then we get Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov at Bash in Berlin for the World Heavyweight Championship.
I'll throw you one better. Drew,
Mhm.
if Drew doesn't hold that title to Mania next year, that's fine. If Gunther's
Mhm.
world champion, I'm calling it out. Ilya Dragunov wins the Royal Rumble and picks Gunther 1-on-1 for the title at WrestleMania 41. That would be a
Mhm.
better way of doing it. Putting those two on
That would be
WrestleMania would
incredible.
slap. Like
That
you
would be
cannot tell me
incredible.
that match would not be fire at a Mania.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We need to see Ilya Dragunov at Bash in Berlin somehow, some way
He's
though.
going to.
Even if it's against like Kaiser or something. Like we need to see him on there.
I can see it because he's already eligible for the draft. They already said it,
Mhm.
so that just lets you know he's going to probably be losing that NXT championship relatively soon. I say maybe
Yeah.
by the draft, or maybe they kind of do what they've been doing with Braun Breaker, possibly.
Mhm.
Even though he's champion, he's still on the main roster. Technically, they could do that, but I feel like they should just have him drop it to Trick Williams and then bring him up to the main roster.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah.
And I guess moving on, we can talk about some more title matches. how do we feel about Io Sky's reign? Finally, it was honestly probably one of the worst reigns, but I
I've
I
seen
love
worse.
seeing I loved seeing Bailey finally get that
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, she deserved that win.
She
She
deserved
really
it.
deserved that.
She really
She deserved
deserved
it
it, and
so much.
she got new theme music. Like
Yeah.
it, it fit. I liked it. I think her presentation. I think she wanted to go for something even bigger, but unfortunately, I think it couldn't take place because it came in late. So, it maybe she'll save it for next year's Mania, possibly, or maybe SummerSlam or some other PLE that happens this year. She could do that. But
Hmm.
I think it was a great moment for her overall because I think she's definitely deserved this moment. I think her finally having that one-on-one match that she's longed um, for so long, and she finally got it. I think when you look at the four horsewomen, she is the best. She's honestly she's the best one out of the four. She's like the most like selfless, out of the four. She's always trying to help elevate it to other women that's in the division besides herself, trying to put them and elevate them to the next level. And I think people don't give a lot of credit to her for that when she really does. So I really was happy to see her get her moment after everything that she's put into the women's division, carrying it through the pandemic era, being that go-to champion. She held the fort down. She was the champion. She had some of the best moments during the pandemic era as one of the women's wrestlers and champion. So she definitely deserved this moment for everything that she's put in to help the women's division get to where it is now.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously, we're probably gonna talk about this a lot, but who do we see her first feud as champion against?
EO. EO's probably gonna want a rematch. Or I feel like this story with the damage control is still like far from over. Maybe if it's not EO, I can see it being maybe like a Dakota Kai or a Kyrie. But at the same time, I feel like it's more logical to have it be EO because I think for Kyrie and Asuka, they're probably gonna be defending their women's tag team titles against maybe Jade and Bianca or Jade and Naomi. So I think that's where their heads gonna be at. But you still have that X factor being none other than Dakota. So if it's not EO, I can see it definitely being Dakota playing off their histories thus far.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think after that, that's finally going to finish off Bailey in the damage control storyline. And in the future, at some point, I think we're going to see Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi turn heel.
Yeah,
That faction, and then one of those three women are going to take the belt off Bailey at some point.
yeah,
I
man.
think it might be Bianca. I feel like it could be Bianca, and
I think
the
it'd be
person that
Naomi. It's a
really
shock.
Naomi take that. Yeah, I
I
could see
feel like
that.
people wouldn't see it because I think if you look at any three of those women and you'd be like, who's going to take the belt? People are already going to be pointing to Jade Cargill and Bianca. People are not
Mhm.
going to be pointing to Naomi. But
Yeah,
that would make it the moment even more better because people didn't expect or see it coming.
yeah. And then I think we're gonna. When do you think we're gonna get Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley? Like, we got to get that at some point, right?
Um, I think maybe Jade, maybe I could see. I know people can take the title from I don't know, but with them, I don't know if that's gonna be a title feud or non-title. But based
Hmm.
off what happened last night with Liv attacking Rhea, I feel like it's more safe to say that Liv is going to be the one to take the title, and then you can have Rhea. This is why we can have a women's mid card title because this could be for like that title, or it could
Yeah,
be a non-title because I don't think that feud necessarily needs a title
definitely.
to have the match happen. Like you could just have the tell a story of like two big superstars going at it. Like who's the
Hmm.
more dominant one in the division? Is
Yeah,
it Rhea, who's been dominating for like the past year,
yeah,
or is it the newcomer on the block, but someone who is still making a name and can make a big name for herself by defeating a former women's world champion and Royal Rumble winner in her own right?
hmm,
So it's like, okay, you can have that story going on there, and you can have that story between the two. I think that would sell, and I think that's one thing WWE kind of needs to do more is like with these big matches, like when we seen Rhea versus Becky. We need to start seeing. I don't mind them doing these matches and these feuds, but they need to start like having these feuds that don't have to have the title, especially if these are two big stars.
yeah,
If they've proven that they're big stars, especially with the perception that they get from the fans on social media and everything like that. And even with their booking, they don't need to have them compete for the title. And that's one of my biggest gripes that I had with Becky versus Rhea. I don't mind the feud. I just don't think the title needs to be involved for that match to sell and get over.
Yeah.
It pretty much already has history going back to NXT, and it ended in like a DQ. So you could
Mhm.
play off that, and everything we've seen thus far, where Becky's still trying to prove herself. You can still tell that story with her, with anybody, without having a title be involved, to just give somebody just the title just to have it.
Mhm.
Have the title be used more than just a trophy case. Be used to help elevate somebody to that level, whichever title they're holding. Where if it's a world champion, elevate them, become like a world champion contender or world champion like main eventer. Like that's which the whole thing of titles should be, is helping elevate you. That's what it should be.
Mhm.
And I feel like for WWE, they haven't really capitalized on that. But I think that's one of the biggest gripes, is like not really just having these feuds play out without having a title be involved, though.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think the last match we're going to talk about, well, we're going to save it for last, is Cody Rhodes. But right now, talk about Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre.
Oh Lord, that was a good one.
That match, it was a short match. It was like probably like around 10 minutes, right? Around like 10, 12-minute match. But
Yeah,
in that little bit of time, they put together an incredible match. Like that match was phenomenal.
yeah. I almost got
And
flash. I almost got PSTSD for a second, though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
yeah. And just the way you could see like Seth was like crying after, and like just
Yeah,
pointing, there was like so many emotions flowing through. And obviously after the match, um Drew McIntyre got his amazing moment for all of about 5 minutes until CM Punk spoiled his night. And
he should have just left him alone.
I know, but it's awesome to see because we know that Drew is more focused on CM Punk than he is winning the championship. He wants to rub it in CM Punk's face that he won the belt at WrestleMania against Seth Rollins, which is supposed to be his moment, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And then now we have Damian Priest as our new World Heavyweight Champion.
I mean, it was a great match. I think when the match first started, literally Drew hit a Claymore instantly, and I'm like,
Hmm.
please tell me this is not going to be Sheamus and Daniel Bryan from WrestleMania 28 all over again, because I do
I
not
thought
want a
that.
repeat of that. I'm saying, please tell me we're not getting a repeat of this. And then like we had a great match. I think Drew deserved this moment, but I'm
Hmm.
telling you now, he should have just left CM Punk alone. If you would have just left CM Punk alone, you would have still be world champion right now. You
I
would still
know.
be world champion, but because you wanted to go poke the bear, it costed you your title like that. It was
Yeah.
taken from you from just like that. And now Damian Priest is the new world champion. And I don't see him dropping the title anytime soon. I feel like he's going to hold that title till possibly SummerSlam.
Yeah. You think he's gonna hold it hostage again like he was holding the Money in the Bank hostage? Ugh.
I feel like either they might do a fatal four-way where it could be at SummerSlam where it's Drew, Damian, Punk, Rollins. I think that's what they could do. But
Hmm.
I feel like they should just let CM Punk and Drew have their one-on-one match
Yeah.
for the title.
I think either way we're gonna get Drew versus Punk at Clash of the Castle
Oh yeah,
in Scotland
that's
in
what they're
front of his
bleeding
home.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, in front of his home. That's gonna be incredible. The whole crowd's gonna be anti CM Punk. They're all gonna be cheering on Drew.
Well, of course.
It's gonna be great. But I agree with you that Damien's gonna be holding that belt for a long time. For It's either that we're gonna get a cash in, after the Money in the Bank winner, goes after Damien possibly.
I'm just
But
gonna throw
Yeah.
this out there. I hope we see at some point a Finn Balor versus Damian Priest for that title.
You just gave me an idea of fantasy booking, if you will. Finn Balor wins Money in the Bank this year.
hmm
And then you can tell the story like who will he cash in on, right?
yeah,
And he turns on Damien and he cashes in on Damien. and takes the world championship away from him.
Yeah,
Now that would be a long-term storytelling people would not see coming.
that'll be awesome. His obviously, you remember when Finn was fighting Seth, he was like, "You're not gonna cash in on me, right?" And he was like, "No, never, never, never." He was saying that to Damien. So yeah, that would be a full circle moment. That'd be awesome.
Exactly. You say you ain't cashing on me, but I'm not you. I'll cash in on you in a minute.
We need that. We need that Finn Balor versus Damian Priest match. Like that would be
We
an
need him a
incredible.
world title run, a legit world title run.
My God, I need to see Finn Balor like, but now they're transitioning to like 6-month reigns. I think 5 to 6 month reigns,
which is not bad, but like
yeah. So I could see Cody. Cody's probably gonna drop the belt at some point after SummerSlam.
I'd say he's probably gonna hold it till I would say Rumble, maybe Survivor Series around that time.
Yeah. I just hope they don't give the belt to The Rock. Like,
no, he's not losing to Rock, but only because they're gonna use that to kind of set things up for Roman and Rock. Because if you paid attention to last night, Rock didn't mention Roman Reigns at all. He didn't say he's if he challenged that title for the title, he's doing it for Roman. It's like almost he's doing it for himself. Like he doesn't care about what Roman has to say or anything.
Yeah.
So they're planting seeds slowly but surely.
Yeah. Wait, a little side thing real quick. What do you think The Rock gave to Cody last night?
Man, people have been throwing out different ideas. Some people say it could be like part of the Ulafa. Maybe that's part. Maybe that's one thing I've seen. Maybe it was something that says like, you finished your story with Roman, but our story is just beginning. Maybe it was money. I don't know. Maybe it was something I thought about. What if this would be so heel-like of Rock to do? He gave Cody Dusty Rhodes Hall of Fame ring.
Ooh, wait, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Wait, that'd be really cool. Yeah.
Giving him the Hall of Fame ring is crazy. But it's so up his alley.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to throw it out there too. That was one of the like most like weirdest I don't know, that whole like one-on-one with him and The Rock was just so weird. I don't know why. Like The Rock asking to hold his title, it was like, I don't know.
That was so like I was so confused. Like for instance, I'm like, don't tell me this is leading to a title versus title match when one title doesn't even mean anything.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool though, because you could see like The Rock was like being like really weird. But it was cool though. It was good though. Because he wants to crack at the belt at some point.
SummerSlam seems more like it. Or they could set things up for maybe like a Saudi show or so I think it's gonna happen this year. I think people have been even kind of saying maybe SummerSlam or Rumble because it's gonna take place at a big venue. But at the same time, don't rule out Saudi because Saudi would really throw a lot of money just to get The Rock on for a match.
Yeah.
And then some other things that happened last night. We seen what happened with Rhea Ripley. Look like her next challenger is already set in stone for at some point, wherever that's going to take place at. I mean, Liv Morgan, people thought that people were going to forget about her story and everything like that, but nope, they picked up immediately right after Mania, which was surprising to me.
Yes, I know this would never happen. It was so funny. Like I had this vision in my head when I was watching. It was so weird. When Triple H came out, I was like, "Is he about to pedigree Cody right now?" Like,
bro,
I just thought about that. Like for some odd reason, like, is he gonna pedigree him right now? Like right here in the middle of the ring.
Like I have something for you.
That'd be so awesome. Like I don't know. That'd be incredible. Like, or Stephanie comes out and pedigrees him.
Or if it's something like they play the little video package that they did, and at the end, time for Plan B, and he turns around, pedigree. I'm like, oh no, Cody.
That would be so funny though. That would be so funny. But before we talk about Cody's match, like I want to talk about some more of the Mania, like the non-title matches that we had. Obviously we had the LWO versus Santos Escobar and Dominic. Like that wasn't a bad match,
It
in my
wasn't
opinion.
bad, but like I didn't like how they had to use celebrities in the match. They didn't necessarily have to use them. No,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, like I mean, Jason Kelsey, it kind of made sense because like he's the Eagles, he's on the Eagles, but yeah, I get where you're coming from though. I was
Yeah.
I was expecting the Carlito turn to happen.
I feel like they might be saving that for SmackDown, possibly, because they're probably gonna be saving some stuff for like they already know they had a lot of stuff planned for the night after Mania for Raw, but I feel like they're probably gonna save some stuff for SmackDown as well. Because I know for off the bat, I know Cody's gonna be there. That
Yeah,
was confirmed, so they're probably gonna try to do some stuff to amp up things for that show as well.
yeah. I hope it's not like Carmelo and Trick though. Like it took like how many weeks for finally Mello to come out that he jumped Trick? Like it was like
That took place like it took like about a month or a month and a half, almost 2 months.
yeah. So if they do the same thing with Carlito, that's gonna be like dragging it a lot.
Yeah, I don't see them dragging it. I feel
Mhm.
like if they were to do this, I feel like maybe you wait till like this week and just do it like that, and
Mhm.
or you could kind of build it a little bit,
Mhm.
and then you can kind of have it take place around Backlash or a little or like about a week after Backlash.
Yeah, because that'd be a perfect match for Backlash. Rey Mysterio versus Carlito. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, because it's in France,
Yeah.
so that would make a lot
Mhm.
of sense. It would make
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, it would. And I think that's like a 12:30. Yeah, it's like 12:30 here
Uh,
for
I
us.
believe so. It's about 12 o'clock y'all time, 11 o'clock for me, I believe.
Yeah.
So, hey, they're doing a lot of earlier shows I've been noticing. Like they
Yeah.
have that, and then they have King and Queen of the Ring next month too.
Yeah, in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
And then what time's the one in Scotland?
that's gonna be around 11 o'clock as well. Kind of like how Clash of the Castle was.
All right.
So at least like the next three pay per views coming on at like at least like 11.
Yeah, that's not bad. Wait, what was the match after that? After
We had Jimmy versus Jay on night one.
oh yeah, Jimmy versus Jey.
Uh,
I feel like that match was kind of weak
That
in
was
my
so
opinion.
I feel like the reason
underwhelming.
why I feel like for one, people had high expectations for that match,
Mm-hmm.
considering that Rikishi was they wanted Rikishi there, and I feel like another thing is with their storyline that they've been telling between these two,
Mm-hmm.
it would have made all the sense in the world if I know they gave the Philadelphia Street Fight to the Pride and then the Final Testament. They should have gave that to literally Jimmy and Jay and let
Yeah,
them cook and let them have that stipulation because that would have made the match even better. They literally all their offense was literally just super kicks. It
I
was literally
know.
like 20 super kicks back and forth the entire match, and I'm like, I look forward to this match, but this was not what I was expecting.
I know.
Yeah,
And it's
what's it called? That s- that one spare was better than that whole match that Jay had on Jimmy off the thing.
I know.
That was like way better than the match itself.
It's literally called the City of Brotherly Love. Like, can you imagine if it was the City of Brotherly Love street fight? That would be incredible. That would have been awesome.
People would have went crazy for that.
I know. Yeah, that would have been great. And then also night one, we got. I had the list on my phone. I have my phone charging. But what was the another match? Because I
We had
forget the order of the
for
matches.
um we had the tag match on night one.
Yeah.
That was a good match, I would say. Rock actually surprised a lot of people because nobody thought he would actually be able to hang in the ring, but he proved a
Mhm.
lot of people wrong in the
Yeah, he
match.
did. Yeah,
We
he
knew
looked
he was going to
great.
get interference.
Yeah.
Cody looked like he was about to put him away just for Rock to hit him with the belt and then look at his mom and say, "This is for you." And I said, "Oh boy." I said, "Where's everybody? Where's the people when you need them?"
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that, and I'm like, we're seeing a whole bunch of interference, a whole bunch of shenanigans. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like just thinking of like the older episodes of Raw. Where's Jim Ross when you need him to say some wild stuff on commentary? This is an all-out war. This is a slobber knocker. Like somebody needs to stop the match. But I think it was a good match. I think they accomplished what they want, and I feel like that's why because if they were gonna have Cody win on night 2, it made sense to have Rock be the one to pin him on night 1 because I feel like they were going to tell that story between the two at some point. So I feel
Yeah.
like that's why they had him get pinned on night 1, especially. Honestly, going into it, I'm like, I know they had them losing. I would have been okay with Cody going back to back winning both
Yeah.
nights. That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
He beat Rock and Roman on night 1, and he beat Roman on night 2 again.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy. But I think they like we said before, they had the whole bloodline stipulation. If they were dangling it or mentioning it, it was no way that they weren't going to go through with it. So, but it ultimately worked out for him in the end.
Yeah. On night 2, we also had LA Knight versus AJ Styles. Then that match was I feel bad saying this, but it wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
That one's another one that should have stipulation. I know. If we were gonna give one in the Philadelphia street fight, give these two like a chairs match or a no holds barred street fight.
Yeah.
Give them something to work with out their history. Like, I mean, they could at least done a chairs match. I mean, AJ's been attacking LA Knight a bunch of times with the chair. He showed up and became the hate of the year and beat him up at Chamber, flew 20 plus hours just to make sure he didn't win the title.
Yeah.
Just like, come on. Like, you could have done more than that.
I know. And LA Knight beat up this man at his own house. Like, yeah, how is there no stipulation on this? Like, that's crazy.
And it came off, it's just like, it's just a SmackDown match. A lot of these matches, my problem, I feel like a lot of people look at this as one of the greatest of all time, and I can see why. But at the same time, being realistic, a lot of these matches were tag team matches or felt like they were just belong on a Raw or SmackDown show. They didn't give me WrestleMania vibes. WrestleMania should be the culmination of moments and stories that they've been telling for months or almost a year. And for them doing it for as long as they have been, they didn't execute. I think the execution was very poorly. AJ Styles' theme was not as good as people wanted it to be. That theme song, I'm sorry, it did not hit.
Yeah,
it didn't.
Yeah,
like, you could have just kept this song the way it was, honestly.
Yeah,
you literally could have.
Bro, I love his song out. I don't know why he changed it.
I think if they were to do anything with it, they could have like done a Judgment Day and done like a demonic type remix to it. Like that would be kind of cool to the same song, but like a whole different song is like. And I hope he goes back to his old one. Like I hope it's not permanent.
I feel like it's permanent because I think he even said like the one that the one that we all know and love, the one he had before. He said it does not fit his character, so that's why he got a new theme song. Oh, brother,
Well,
I am not.
No, that song is just too good. That song is way too good.
That's legendary. That song is legendary.
He's had that song for the past 8 years
since 2016. Yeah.
When he debuted at the Rumble, like he's had that ever since.
Even though he has been a heel, he still kept that song. So it's like, why now?
I know it does not make sense. Another thing I want to talk about is the Final Testament versus whatever they're called. What are they called?
The Pride, I guess, was that people calling them. I couldn't.
The highlight of that match was Karrion Kross breaking the table when he got on. Like that was the highlight of the whole match.
They tried so hard to make that watchable. They had Snoop Dogg down. They had Bubba Ray as they tried everything to make that match worth watching.
And it didn't hit on anything, bro. And I'm like, at this rate, you could have just got the women and just did a women's battle royal, and I
Yeah,
would have taken that women's battle royal over that.
they could have done that match to debut a new women's mid card title, like you said.
That's what I'm saying, because NXT just got one.
I know, but by the way, that title looks really nice. The women's North American title, that belt looks incredible.
Yeah.
Like that looks
People were
really nice.
pissed though. People were pissed because like as soon as they showed that title, they was like, so NXT can get a women's mid card title, but the main roster can't, and they have more women than NXT does.
Exactly, I
You
know.
could have literally just made one mid card title and debut it at WrestleMania in a battle royal, and whoever wins the battle royal becomes the champion. That title can be defended on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
Yeah, I think they might debut a title at the draft though, because they might choose what the belt, like where it's gonna go, what brand it's gonna go on. Like I think they could do that.
Because NXT is involved,
Yeah,
so they could introduce a women's mid card title and probably finally bring in some new tag team titles for the men. Because I
Oh,
cannot stand these Raw and SmackDown tag team titles.
I know.
I can't. I can't.
I mean, they're slightly better than what they had the same title with like the copper looking thing. That was
The penny,
horrible.
the penny
Yeah.
ones.
Oh, so bad.
I honestly, when it comes to both the Raw and SmackDown, I like the SmackDown was better because the blue complements the silver. The Raw does not.
I know.
You could have just put a black strap and I would have taken that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But then it's gonna look like a quarter championship, and you don't want them. You don't want a championship being compared to your change. But these championships look like some Skittles.
I know they're so
Like,
bad. They're
like
so
come
bad.
on.
They're so bad. Oh my god. Oh, I'm having trouble thinking about the other matches at WrestleMania. Like
The triple threat.
United States, yeah, the triple threat match.
That was okay.
Yeah, it was alright, I guess.
Then
I
Speed
feel like
showed
it
up.
should
Like,
have. I feel like it should have just been Randy versus Logan Paul. If I'm being honest.
that's gonna happen at SummerSlam. I feel like either that or I see him going after a world title at SummerSlam because
Yeah.
they're gonna be in Cleveland. But then I think the match was good. I think they kind of told the story of like where he pinned Kevin, so it kind of kept Randy looking protected. So you can continue that story if you want to, which I think they're
Yeah.
going to when they, I guess, maybe heading into Backlash possibly.
Yeah.
Because I did see the commercial, and I think Randy and Logan were both in the commercial, if I'm not mistaken. So it gives me reason to believe that they're going to continue that story. I don't know what you do with Kevin, but I do know for a fact that they were going to do that story. Honestly, seeing Sammy win on night one, it gave me that flashback to thinking maybe they could pull the trigger and give Kevin Owens the championship. You can have like that visual of where it was Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit many years ago, where they were both celebrating in the ring as champions. I feel like that would have been a great callback if they were to do that.
Yeah. So I have two things actually. So one thing I want to point out is the ending of that match. Logan Paul got like 35 feet of air with that frog splash. That was
Yeah,
beautiful. That was beautiful.
He's got to
And-
have the best frog splash in the business.
Yeah. And second thing, well, next to Montez Ford, I think right next to Montez Ford, they're close.
They're neck and neck, yeah.
And then the second thing is, could you see Kevin Owens turning heel possibly on Sami Zayn at some point? They always do that. That's always
Kevin
a
and
callback.
Sammy.
Yeah, they always whenever they're in the ring working, it's magic. But
Easily.
we've
I feel
seen
like
it
what
so
they
many
should do-
times.
I want to see that. I think this happens. I think maybe because Kevin always plays the better heel.
Mhm.
Sammy's always played the better face. I
Yeah.
think if they do this, I say instead of when they do it, it should be for a world championship.
Yeah.
I feel like one of these two guys I would put in the Money in the Bank or both of them
Mhm.
and I would say give Sammy the win.
Mhm.
Or maybe Kevin wins it and he starts as being a douchebag to Sammy. And like he turns heel. Because it would be a great callback to their NXT days. To remember, Sammy won the world title and Kevin turned on him. But
Yeah.
now Kevin becomes world champion again, and he just goes in on Sammy, just belittles Sammy, and then it's we'll get to this moment between these two at a WrestleMania or maybe a SummerSlam, and let these two actually go in the ring and have like a 20-minute, 25-minute match. And I
Hmm.
think you give Sammy, that's where Sammy, I feel like, can finally get his world title win.
Yeah, yeah, he deserves a moment like that, a huge moment. Um, I forget some other match. Oh my god, I can't believe I forget.
We had the women's, we had the 6-woman
Oh
tag.
yeah, yeah, that match was pretty good. It
It was pretty
was,
good,
it was
honestly.
like you said, it was another SmackDown match, but it was good. It was good. Obviously Jade Cargill's star power alone made that match, feel great. Um, and her obviously getting the pin, that means big things are coming for Jade Cargill. I think she's gonna get thrown into the championship scene once she turns heel. I don't think she's gonna get thrown into it yet. I think
Immediately, no.
once the team turns heel, I think we're gonna start seeing them more in the champion. Like, obviously Bianca Belair is already she's already a bona fide Hall of Famer. Let's be real. Like she's a bona fide.
Yeah.
She's gonna be carrying the group. So I think Jade Cargill is gonna get her moment. Probably not until after the summer. I think after the summer we're gonna see the heel turn, and then I don't know what they're gonna do with Damage Control
Well, Damage
because
Control, I mean, they're probably gonna get moved over in the draft.
hmm um, and they've been holding the tag team titles hostage for a while now.
Yeah, since they won them, because I think they won them like in January, February, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like they've been
Yeah,
kind of holding them hostage for a while now.
and they haven't really done anything with them. They're not having great matches with them.
I feel like the issue is there's just not a lot of like firepower woman tag teams right now. So I don't.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. And plus, Asuka, she might be still dealing with that injury, so they might be waiting until she's fully cleared. That's probably why they went with that 6-woman tag compared to like a title match.
yeah, yeah. Um, some more matches. We definitely saw more matches. I'm just forgetting about right now, and I am blanking out.
Um, we did get the US and everything like Bailey versus Io. We talked about that one. I think that was. I think we're at the main event. Main
All
event.
right. Yep. Here we go. Cody Rhodes.
Cinematic, literally, like
We can
that's.
talk
I don't
about
know
the
how they're
match.
gonna top that match. I really don't.
You can't.
I know.
So
I
many moments,
not gonna lie. At one point in the match, I actually shed a tear. I actually cried at one point in the match. Uh,
dude. I did at the end too. I'm not gonna lie. But
mhm.
when I heard the Shield music, bro, I had goosebumps. I said, please. I was like, are they really gonna do it? Are they about to bring Jon Moxley back to WWE?
I thought
I
that for
was
a minute.
literally, I'm like, please be, please be, please be, because I was ready to mark out. And I'm like, on one hand, I feel like it was probably just gonna be Seth Rollins, but I did not want to think about it for a second. I just wanted to go full blown insane. Let it please be Ambrose, aka Moxley, make his return on
Yeah,
WrestleMania
that'd be
in a
incredible.
place where he's grit his teeth at, like made a name for himself in Philadelphia. Like,
Hmm.
come on, man, you cannot top that. I'm telling you now, if they would have pulled the trigger and did that, I'm telling you instantly, that probably would be one of the biggest returns of all time.
Yeah,
It
I
would
would
be
have lost my
right up
mind.
there.
I would have lost my mind.
The
It
But it
was
made
hilarious though.
sense.
It
It
was
made
hilarious.
sense that it was Seth. It made sense because he did tell Cody, "I'm gonna be your shield." So that was a great callback, having the shield music and him
Yeah,
in the shield gear. But at the same time, this might be planting some seeds between Seth and Roman. I feel
yeah,
like that's gonna be planting some Seth between Seth and Roman because Roman took his eye off the ball. He concentrated on Seth Rollins, not forgiving him what happened 10 years ago when Seth changed the business and turned on him and Moxley, which pretty much proceeded to pretty much give him put us where he is now.
hmm,
If it wasn't for Seth's heel turn, we don't know what Roman Reigns would be. But him turning heel is what set Roman out on this journey to get him to where his final combination is of being the tribal chief.
hmm.
So this is why Roman is what he is now because of Seth and everything that he went through with being associated with Seth.
Yeah,
But now that he took his eye off the ball, that's gonna make Roman feel some type of way. That's gonna make him feel some type of way because I took my eye off the ball for a split second, focused on the person that stabbed me in the back to get my revenge, and it cost me my championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The one point that I actually laughed at, and I laughed at one part when Seth ran in just to get Superman punched. That was kind of funny, and like a little bit at one point. But the part I actually shed a tear at was that point when Roman hit Seth, and it just like, because it brought me back to my childhood. Because
2014, yeah.
I was like, oh my god, how old was I? I was like, oh my god, I was like 10 years ago. I was like 8 years old when that happened, and
It was like
I
13 when that happened, I think.
I
It was
watched
like
it
13.
live. I watched it happen live on it was, I think it was on Monday Night Raw, and
Yeah, June 2nd.
oh my god, it was amazing. And you saw Roman couldn't help but smile when he was getting pinned by Cody.
Yeah. Did you see it like the press conference on night one where somebody when he came out and somebody booed him and he told him, get out. Get
Yeah,
out. I said, dang it. What did they do?
it was so funny. He started yelling at Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah.
Really?
And then he told the other person, get out.
Mhm.
If you're gonna come out here and be disrespectful like that, get out. And he
Yeah.
told him, get him out of here.
Yeah, he was like, use your feet, come on, get out. And it was so funny. Oh my god.
I
I
said he
think,
belittled that person.
do you think that person was a plant, or do you think
You
like
think
he actually went full blown on it?
I think it could have been a little bit of both. I feel
Yeah.
like honestly, I feel like it would probably been more script. I feel like somebody, told them about that, and it would probably got the person say, "Hey, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna boo him. He's gonna tell you get out," and that's gonna play up his heel character going even more into night two.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, then Chris Van Vliet should have probably got kicked out too.
Yeah. Yeah. That there's so many more moments to talk about in that match. Like obviously,
Cena,
yep.
but each one I feel like finished their story. Jay and Jimmy finishing their story. John Cena and Solo finishing their story. You have Undertaker and Rock having their feud from many years ago. But here's the thing. Somebody made a great point. Undertaker got the revenge on the two people that played a factor into his two losses at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman with the Lesnar and Roman Reigns. So he got his revenge on them two and finally finished his story. So I feel like it was pretty much everybody finishing their stories.
Yeah.
Bro, as soon as Taker's music, I was expecting Austin, but when I heard Undertaker's, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And then we seen, him hit Seth across the chair. He tried to spear Cody. Cody hit him with the knee. That stunned him. Crossroads number 1. He picked him back up. Crossroads number 2. He picked him back up for 3. And then in the background, you can hear Paul Heyman saying, no, no. And then you see Cody hit the 3rd crossroads for the 1, for the 2, for the 3, and your new champion finally finishing his story.
Like that didn't even feel real. Like
it didn't. And that's like, it didn't, because I'm literally before night 2, I was watching Money in the Bank 2013 from Philadelphia, where Cody Rhodes was the guy people wanted to win the world championship, because it was for the Money in the Bank ladder match. He was competing for the briefcase, and that was where Damien Sandow turned heel on him and won the briefcase. And to think 11 years later in Philadelphia, once again, he becomes the world champion.
Yeah. And if you notice, they're calling it the Undisputed WWE Championship now. They're kind of going away from Universal.
Yeah, because he did say if he won that championship, he's reverting it back to the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
So I think maybe with this draft, we finally get to see some new design for some of these titles. Maybe for if Cody wants to get a new design, the new tag titles, introduction of the women's mid card. I think those are some things that we could possibly see with the draft because they kind of like to kind of set a new revamp for like the brand and the presentation. So I
Yeah,
think that's definitely likely.
yeah, because that belt Cody has was made specially for Roman. That was made from Triple H for Roman for hitting 1,000 days as champion.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm trying to think. Look, you think we're gonna get Cody's belt with like a white strap or something? Like,
I actually seen a picture people were going around of what the design could look like, and it's pretty much the winged eagle, but it's like
Mhm.
black and gold.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, and him coming out in the beginning of Raw, just carrying the belt. It was awesome to
They just
finally
put the nail
see.
in the coffin, like they let you know it's happening, it's real. We're in that era now,
Yeah, the Cody Rhodes era. Well, the Triple H era,
or
but
pretty much the Renaissance era, the modern attitude era, whichever you want to call it. Yeah,
yeah, and
Yeah, seeing him come down like during that entrance was like so weird to see because we're not used to him having a title. We're just used to him just coming out.
yeah,
So it was very good to see him finally with the title around him.
yeah. He deserves that moment so much, and you can just see how happy he is to have that belt.
he's
It's
proud of it,
awesome.
and he should. I mean, he deserved it. I mean, the story and everything.
Well, we talked about everything at WrestleMania, but one more thing I want to talk about is we kind of touched on it a little bit. I mean, we touched on it a lot, but the Judgment Day, though,
Mm-hmm.
they seem to be at the top of their game right now.
Seems to be, yeah.
But like we were talking about, we're probably going to see some, internal problems soon.
We're already kind of seeing it, honestly, because I mean, you have Damien now as the world champion. You have
Hmm.
Rhea as world champion. I feel like how do you further that storyline of being dissension? Rhea loses her championship.
Yeah.
Rhea loses her championship, then it kind of puts everybody in awe because it's like, what does it mean for the Judgment Day? What does it mean
Hmm.
for the entirety? But just just think of the Judgment Day without any titles. You
I know.
have Rhea lose it because I think she's probably gonna lose it at Backlash because she's held
Hmm.
that championship for over a year. She's
Yep.
held that championship for over a year at this point. She broke that record before Mania even happened.
Hmm.
So she's literally right behind Bianca. Bianca held the Raw title for like 420 days.
Hmm.
So you could tell that story in the future.
Yeah.
You know, feeling like Rhea Ripley came second place to Bianca. Have that story.
Hmm.
But I
Hmm.
feel like once Rhea Ripley loses her title, that's where you double down on there being internal conflict in the Judgment Day
Hmm.
because you go back to seeing this downward spiral of the Judgment Day. It
Hmm.
started at Mania. Damien and Finn lose the tag titles. JD couldn't win the Battle Royal.
Yep.
Dominic lost at Mania, and he loses presumably against Andrade next week. You're continuing that story, and you amp it up even more with Rhea Ripley's biggest rival, Liv Morgan, taking that title. That doubles it down that there's internal conflict, and you can see at this point a downward spiral, a downward trend. The fall of the Judgment Day is happening,
Yeah.
and you have that one final piece, and that being Damian Priest, world champion, and you can kind of feel like you can kind of tell that story where Finn Balor gets the Money in the Bank contract possibly, and it seems like okay, looks like we're back on track. We're getting back on track, but no, the internal conflict hits it, hits its ceiling where Finn Balor takes the title from Priest.
Yep.
Now this shows the full cracks in the Judgment Day, and they have been, and it gives so many callbacks within the Judgment Day and the stories outside of the Judgment Day,
Hmm.
being the reason that the Judgment Day has fully crumbled. You have it being told from Mania with their losses. You have You have Rhea lose her title to Liv. You have literally Finn Balor win the briefcase, and you have the heel turn from Finn on Priest, and now the Judgment Day is pretty much fully disbanded almost at this point. You probably just have Rhea and Dominic still left, and JD might be still on the side of Finn Balor, but that's it.
Yep. Because I don't know if you watched the whole press conference after Mania, but I know Damian was talking about this from a real perspective. But he was saying at the beginning when he joined Judgment Day, he was worried that he was going to get cut from the company. He wouldn't be in the company anymore. He was worried about that. Which meaning I think he could have been hinting at something. This might be kind of crazy, but saying that championships build the Judgment Day. That's kind of like the glue that holds them together. And when they don't have gold or anything, they're not going to be the Judgment Day anymore. They're going to be falling apart. The only thing that really keeps them motivated is winning belts, winning gold, winning Money in the Bank contracts, winning all that. So the day they don't have that anymore,
what happens?
We're going to see them going back to stage one, back when Edge brought them all in. They had nothing. They were building from the ground up, but now we're going to be building up back to the ground.
Yeah, and you go back to the press conference where Priest was talking about his upbringing, how 10 years ago he was pretty much homeless, and 10 years later, he's champion. And I feel like that kind of doubles down that they're going to be in this direction of him turning face.
Yep.
Because you can have that story. It's like the same people I rode with and traveled with and had so many great memories with. Never in a million years would I think they would be the same ones to turn on me after I considered them my family. And you have that story between those two going into maybe SummerSlam this year or maybe Survivor Series.
Because I could see, I don't know if it could happen, but if we, like we said, if we have Damian Priest get kicked out of the Judgment Day or leave, and we have Finn Balor stay possibly with JD, if Damian builds up a group around him, we can get a War Games match between the Judgment Day and Damian Priest's new faction that he built.
That's true. Because I think one pay-per-view that they could do besides Survivor Series where if Finn turns on Priest, that makes sense for them to have a title match. Payback.
Oh yeah,
that title fits their feud perfectly. Payback. But the question is, to your feud idea, I'll throw that. I like the idea. Who would you have be on Damian Priest's team or his faction to go up against the Judgment Day? Who? Because you're gonna have a woman if Rhea Ripley's there. You're gonna have probably two other guys.
Rey Mysterio.
Ooh.
Andrade.
So
that's 3, including Priest.
Yeah. And you gotta have a woman. I would say Liv, but if possibly someone else.
This is
just so Liv could say I beat her again.
I know, this is kind of.
I would say either her or Alexa would be the two people I would go with.
Charlotte Flair.
Oh, that's a good callback. That's a good callback because I said that recently with them telling that story. I feel like Andrade doing this thing with the Judgment Day is going to be a segue and a bridge to bring back Charlotte into the picture for them to have a feud once again, but this time not it being for the title.
Yep. And if we see her in the War Games match going up against Rhea, that would be, or at Payback, or wherever we see it, that would be incredible. That would be awesome. I would love to see it.
I like that idea.
But with that, I think we should. I think we can wrap it up.
All right.
Obviously, excited for the future of the company. A lot of great champions. I'm curious where these stories are gonna go with these new ones. So
yeah, and you gotta remember we're only a little bit over 3 weeks away from Backlash. So
yeah, we're literally 3 weeks away. And literally from that point, we only have 3 more weeks after that to build to literally King and Queen of the Ring. And then from that point, you only have 2 weeks before Clash at the Castle.
Oh my god. Wow, we have a
These
lot.
pay-per-views are going to be fastly approaching, and they're literally early in the morning too.
Yep. Yep.
Because I'm pretty sure for Backlash, we're probably gonna get Jay and Damian. We're gonna
Mhm.
probably get Rhea and Liv, and probably a stipulation match.
Mhm.
So those are 2 matches, 2 big money matches right there. And I feel with last year, Triple H didn't have the full booking that he wanted because he could have done a title change. And with this being his era, and you don't expect a lot from these B-level pay-per-views, he could pull a big shock by having Rhea Ripley lose her title there.
Yep. Well, we'll just have to see and find out, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
In
I'm
words
so,
of Liv Morgan, watch her.
yep. I'm so excited.
All right. Thank you for everyone who watched, and thank you for joining us once again, Leo.
No problem.
All right, we'll see
All
you
right.
guys soon.
In the next one.
Yep.